What's up, homies? It's Ryan, and today we are back with episode number 25 of our Miami Marlins franchise here on Out of the Park Baseball 18. It is Wednesday, November 27th, 2024. Free agency filings are tomorrow. So I simulated through salary arbitration. We got back all the guys that we wanted. We did get back most of the minor league free agents that we wanted. So just taking a look here to see who exactly we needed to re-sign. We got Garrett back on a 1-year deal. He is making $7.35 million this season. So that's a lot of money for a team like us who, we don't really have a ton of money to be throwing around, but he deserves it. We brought back Sixto Sanchez also on a 1-year deal, $1.45 million. We brought back AJ Moore. I believe he's making $850,000. Figured I'd bring him back just as a cheap arm because we definitely need them. Austin Franklin will be back. He is making $1.3 million this year, and I believe that was all the free agent pitchers that I wanted to bring back. Alex Faedo said he did not want to discuss a contract extension, so I guess he didn't really want to be here. So Faedo is now a free agent, so we're going to lose Faedo, unfortunately. I mean, I might try to get him back in free agency, but unfortunately, we no longer have Alex Faedo, but we still do have a solid staff. We're not going to bring back Bobby Wall. We're not going to bring back Aroldis Chapman. We're going to let them walk. And in terms of batters, let's take a look here and see. We brought back Kelenic on a 1-year deal, $892,000. So that off year he had last year, might have actually helped us out a little bit in terms of the contract, which is great. Let me see. Was there anyone else here I needed to re-sign? I don't believe so. No. So those were all the guys really that we wanted to bring back. Now let's take a look at the award winners, as we always do. So starting in the American League with the Gold Glove Award, Michael Kopech, Max Pentecost, Jeffrey Marte, Yoan Moncada, Gleyber Torres, Francisco Lindor, Raul Baracierta, Akil Baddoo, and Max Kepler. And in the NL, I don't think we won any. No, we did not. Jacob Faria, Miguel Amaya, Anthony Rizzo, Andres Jimenez, Jelfrey Marte, Orlando Arcia, Michael Gigliotti, Kevin Rivera, and Estevan Florial. Reliever of the year in the AL was Juan Trujillo, followed by Jai McVell and Luis Sla. In the NL, it was Ian Kroll, 33-year-old Ian Kroll, followed by Keone Kela and Juan Castro. Silver Slugger Awards in the AL, Francisco Mejia, Bobby Bradley, Fernando Perez, Gleyber Torres, Sergio Salgado, Chris Rothenberg, Kyle Tucker, Nomar Mazara, and Manny Sanchez. In the NL, I don't believe we got any of these either. No, we did not. Thomas Eshelman, former Phillies prospect, I see is now on the Braves. Omar Baldo, Paul Goldschmidt, Chris Nelson, Chris Bryant, Edmundo Sosa, Alderem Corredor, Juan Montero, and Bryce Harper. Rookie of the year in the AL was Ryan Vladi, followed by Luis Aceves and Greg Osby. And in the NL, it was Phil Butler of the Philadelphia Phillies, followed by Kevin Ramey and Luis Estrada. So one of our rookies did finish in the top 3. It was not Mike Anderson. I was a little surprised, but still, we did have one rookie that finished in the top 3. So that is pretty neat. I will get into who I got to my new coaches, so we will get to that in a second. Manager of the year in the AL was Jeff Bannister of the Texas Rangers. Almost said Brian Bannister. In the NL, once again, it was Craig Counsell. Cy Young Award in the AL, Michael Lorenzen. So I believe that is his second Cy Young Award, if I remember correctly. Oh, nope. He has won the he has won the Cy Young Award 4 years in a row. Has Michael Lorenzen. So he has really become one of the best pitchers in baseball. He was followed by Blake Snell and Jonah Patton. And in the NL, it went to Martin Perez of the Mets, followed by Eric Doherty. So Eric Doherty finished second in the voting for Cy Young Award in the NL. Man, that is rough. Had a very good year for us last year. Definitely our best pitcher. Damn, that sucks. All right, well, that's damn, man. Noah Syndergaard finished third. All right, so we almost got a Cy Young Award, which is pretty neat. And then most valuable player in the AL was Fernando Perez, followed by Nomar Mazara and Francisco Lindor. And in the NL, we had Ron Warren, followed by Alderem Corredor and Edmundo Sosa. So, is there anything else I need to show? No, there is not. We did not make the championship in the AFL, unfortunately. So that is that. Now going to personnel-wise, showing you who I got. I got Billy Bean as my assistant GM, Sandy Alomar Jr. as my bench coach. We did end up bringing back Rick Adair as our pitching coach, and we got John Malee as our hitting coach, which is good. So happy with who we got there. Is there anything else I needed to talk about? I don't believe so. So free agency filings are tomorrow. So let's just take a look and see who is there. I'm not sure how much money we have. I guess I can actually just go here to see. So we have $31 million for free agents. So not really a ton of money, unfortunately, but that's, it is what it is. I keep saying that. It is what it is. So looking at the international free agents that enter the market, I'm not too sure what we need. I'd like to improve the team defense. This is an interesting pitcher. Maybe we'll take a look at it, although $8 million, that's almost a third of our available money, so maybe not. Jorge Corona, no. So there's no studs in this free agent market like there was last year with Estrada. Shohei Ohtani is now a free agent. How much? He wants a ton of money. So we're not going to be able to get Shohei Ohtani. He has finally been posted by his foreign team. I'd like to see what his batting ratings look like. Yep, that's pretty good. And so they have not had him bat at all in this sim. They've just had him be a pitcher. So how has he done pitching-wise? Very well. Okay. All right. Well, yep, we're not going to be able to get Shohei Ohtani, but I am interested to see how good this guy actually does. Now, he was posted at 30 years old, which is a little later than he's going to end up being posted in real life, I would imagine. So that is that. Luis Davalos is a free agent. He wants $26.5 million. I believe this was like one of their international findings, I believe. I believe that's what it was, and it seems like they did not bring him back. I don't know if they didn't have the money for it or what. But that is that. Clayton Kershaw, Michael Lorenzen, 4-time Cy Young Award winner. He probably wants $30 million, basically. So Chris Tillman, he is out there. I don't know if he's worth $16.6 million. But anyway, let's take a look here and see what exactly this team could use. So starting with the pitching staff, we might need a starter. I don't know. So Doherty and Garrett are definitely our 1 and 2. So at least we've, gotten to the point where we have a solid 1-2. We just need to find that 3. Michael Baumann, I guess he'll probably be in the rotation, I would imagine. Cliff Gallahan has probably earned a spot at this point, I would say, because he has to be up in the major leagues at this point. There's not really anywhere else he can be. So, I don't know. Maybe we look for a starter, but as of right now, I think we have Moore slot in as our number 5. Bergner. Yeah, Bergner. I don't know. I mean, I guess Baumann maybe could be the 3, and then we still have Bontrager, so maybe he slots in as the 3, and then we put Baumann in as the 4, and maybe we start using Moore maybe in a bullpen role, and we put Gallahan in at the 5. I don't know. Stoppers, we will have probably not Austin Becker. Nope. We will have Austin Franklin probably as one of our stoppers. He had a solid year last season. I would not be opposed to maybe... Yeah, so we need some bullpen arms. Looking in the minor leagues, I'm not sure if there's anyone that's ready to come up. I don't think there is. In terms of pitchers, Rogelio Infante might be up this year. I'm not too sure. This is one of the guys we got in that Tampa Bay Rays trade. And that is that. There's Apodaca, the guy we took last year in the, 3rd round? Yep. So he is, looks like he's he's doing well. He went straight from low A to A ball last year, so he might be up pretty soon. Maybe not next year, but he should be up pretty soon. Yeah, so we do need some bullpen arms. I think that would be good because we have Colomb as maybe like a middle relief guy. We could use Sixto as a middle relief guy. We could use I'd like to use Moore and Bergner, but I don't know if they'd be pissed off about that. And then we still have Austin Becker, who is not that great. Yeah, so we need some bullpen arms for sure. And then take a look at the lineups. We will need We will need a backup catcher. We did not bring back Shane Rowland. I guess we could put maybe Tristan Gray at first. We have Luis Carpio. It's a shame John Dean is not good defensively, because I would love it if he was a lot better defensively. But in any case, well, I might actually look to trade this guy, honestly, because I'd love it if he was a lot better defensively. Because somebody, I don't know who it was, I don't remember what your name was, but you said that maybe the team hasn't been doing good because of defense, and I agree with you. Like, usually, I really do try to put a lot of, like, it might not seem like it, but I try to, like, build defensively good teams. It just never really works out that way. I'd like to have maybe Carpio at second, even though he is fragile, but you got to take what you can get, I suppose. Mike Anderson has definitely earned a spot. We could put him maybe in center field. Yeah, let's do that. Ben Melee can play left field, I suppose. Is he fragile now too? Yes, he is. Damn it, that is not good at all. Juan Roybal can play in right field. So now we don't really have a spot for Kelenic, which is not good. I mean, I could. I guess, like, because I am trying to be better defensively, because I was thinking I could put Melee at second, put Carpio at short, and then maybe trade Dean and package him in for maybe like a power hitting third baseman or shortstop. Well, and we have Estrada still too. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Yeah. Like, this is a good problem to have, but it's like I'm not too sure what exactly I want to do. Because now, like, we have a lot of outfielders. I will say that, because we have Estrada who can also play first, but then where are you going to put Gray? Like, Gray, I guess, could maybe go to third, but yeah, I don't know. All right, well, let's just take a look at the free agency, who's available, and we will come back to this. And we still have to worry about, like, Kelenic too. Man, there are a lot of guys we have to worry about. Let's go all the way up here. All players. Are there any potential guys first that I want to see? Not really. There's this Mitch Keller guy. He wants $1 million. Wouldn't be a bad bullpen arm, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, so there's not really any potential guys that I'm going to miss. So overall rating, there is Alex Faedo. So he doesn't really want to come back, does he? Oh, no. Okay, so he would be fine coming back now. He just didn't want to discuss it during the salary arbitration period. Yeah, all right, so there's some guys here. There's Tyler O'Neill, I believe. Yeah, so he won a Gold Glove last year. Name sounded familiar. So he was playing with Seattle. Not great offensively. He has power, though. He wants $13 million, though. We don't really have that kind of flexibility to be throwing $13 million at him. There's Clayton Kershaw. He wants $21 million, and he is now fragile. Kyle Schwarber is fragile. He wants $1 million. So, yeah, there's some interesting names here, I suppose. Aroldis Chapman wants $2.93 million. Wow. That he definitely fell off there. Goldschmidt wants $20 million. Liam Hendricks, who they wanted us to bring back a while ago. Luis Robert, he is very good defensively. Offensively, he is not all that good. I mean, he's okay, I suppose. He's fragile. A lot of these guys always end up fragile. It sucks. Yeah, so there's some names here. So I'm going to cut out, I suppose, maybe try to find some trade offers for some guys. Because, I mean, like, we have a lot of talent lineup-wise, but I'd like to maybe try to get, I don't know. Because I'd like to try to get better defensively. Like, Dean he's 24 years old. I mean, he can make it work, I guess. You could put maybe Carpio at short. No, not third, short. You could put Dean at second. And then you still need a third baseman. We don't really have anyone that can play third. I mean, you put Dean at third. Dean can't even play third. I don't think Carpio can even play third. Oh, Carpio can kind of play third. So maybe you put, like, Carpio there, I guess. Or, well, no, you keep him there. You put Gray at third, I suppose. And then maybe you use Estrada at first. I mean, I don't even know if he's that good at first. No, he is awful in the infield. So, I mean, I guess you could put Estrada at first, maybe. And then you still need to find a spot for Kelenic. Although that's not really at the top of my priority list. He's probably my fourth best outfielder at this point behind Roybal, Anderson, and Melee. So, I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to cut out because there's a lot of stuff I have to figure out about what I want to do exactly with this team. looking at the free agents that I want to sign. So, yeah, I'm going to cut out now, and I will be back, and the team may or may not look a little different when we come back. We will just have to wait and see. All right, we are back. It is Saturday, January 4th, 2025. The Hall of Fame voting results are coming up. So it was a very busy offseason for your Miami Marlins, who ended up making 3 trades. We signed, I believe, 5 free agents, if I remember correctly. So I'm going to go over each and every one of those moves. So we will start with the trades. As you can tell, I am in the trade lock. So the first trade that we made was with the Minnesota Twins. If you take a look here and see, where is it going? There we go. So the Miami Marlins traded 24-year-old second baseman John Dean, 28-year-old starting pitcher A.J. Moore, and 25-year-old minor league center fielder Artie Bartz to the Minnesota Twins for 25-year-old reliever Steve Talbert and 21-year-old minor league starting pitcher Jorge Delgado. The only guy in this trade that I was kind of upset to get rid of was Dean, but he was awful defensively, and outside of his speed, I can find guys like this all the time. Honestly, I mean, he can avoid strikeouts. He's got above-average contact skills, gap power skills, no power whatsoever. His eye isn't that good. As I said, he's not good defensively, and I was really trying to improve the team defense this season, and I think I did that. So we did end up trading our first-round pick from very early on in the series, but that's all good. I was fine trading A.J. Moore. He didn't seem like he was ever going to be anything special. And Artie Bartz, that was the guy that we got in the Luis Soto trade, one of them anyway. I just decided to trade him. That was the guy they wanted. And in return, we get Steve Talbert. This was the first overall pick in, I believe, 2019. Yeah, so he was the 3rd overall pick in 2019, the same year that we got John Dean. We got Dean 3 picks later. So Talbert was out of the University of North Carolina. And it says he was a reliever, but he's going to be a starter for us. Where right now he has 2+ pitches in the sinker and the curveball. The forkball is decent enough that we can work with it. And if that changeup ever does develop, then he'll have 3+ pitches, which would be great. But intriguing stuff rating. He'll have solid movement, okay control that I'll deal with. Extreme ground ball pitcher, 75 grade stamina, which is great. And he's considered a team leader, which is fantastic. And along with Talbert, we get a prospect, Jorge Delgado, who is currently right now in Double-A for us. That is where he was last year with the Twins. See, in Double-A last year in 6 starts, he pitched to a 2.30 ERA, 32 strikeouts, 14 walks. Intriguing stuff. Grade control should be fantastic. He right now has 2+ pitches in that fastball and the slider. And the splitter, it seems like once it fully develops, then he'll have 3+ pitches in the fastball, the slider, and the splitter. He has the mental skills to effectively handle big game pressure, so he'll probably end up in a rotation here sometime within the next year or 2. So that was the first trade that we made. I liked it personally. Second trade that we made was with the Chicago White Sox. We traded 25-year-old reliever Johnny Bontrager and 21-year-old minor league closer Shamel Jeanette to the White Sox for 26-year-old shortstop Jason Guzman and 24-year-old reliever Brian Mejia. So, again, Bontrager was kind of tough to get rid of, but at the same time, we've had him for 2 years, and I was not fully convinced that he was going to be, a solid part of our rotation going forward. As I said, it has been 2 years. He's only going to get more expensive from here. This was a guy that I had really high expectations for when we got him from the Mets in that deal. But, we've gotten to a point now where we actually do have some starting pitching depth, so we can afford to maybe trade a guy like a Bontrager in exchange for a player that might help us out, immediately. So we traded Bontrager and we traded just a minor league relief pitcher for Jason Guzman, who is going to slide in as our starting shortstop this year. Offensively, he'll hold his own. Not great contact skills, but gap power, eye, and his avoid Ks grades are all more than respectable. Great speed, spray hitter. And as I said, defensively, he is fantastic. So he is going to slot in as our starting shortstop next season, or I should say this upcoming season. And I said we need a relief pitcher, so I decided to get a relief pitcher in this deal, Brian Mejia. He is 24 years old. He's only been in the league for 1 year. 3+ pitches in the fastball, the slider, and the change up. He has 75 grade stuff, 60 grade move, but the control is a bit of an issue. But we are going to take a risk. You see, last year he made the jump, or not last year, 2 years ago, he made the jump straight from Double-A, where he was a starter, to the majors where he was a reliever. Now, we could also make this guy a starter at some point. If one of our starters isn't doing well, we can maybe slot this guy in, but we will cross that bridge when we get to it. So, second trade that we made, Guzman Mejia for Bontrager and Jeanette. So that is that. See, Mejia at one point was the number 80 prospect, and Bontrager was the number 26 at one point. Third trade that we made was with the Colorado Rockies. This was kind of a big one as well. So the Marlins traded 25-year-old left fielder Jared Kelenic, 28-year-old shortstop Tristan Gray, 27-year-old reliever Cliff Gallahan, and 22-year-old minor league starting pitcher Luis Ledesma to the Rockies for 25-year-old third baseman Jordan Groshans and 20-year-old minor league shortstop Alfredo Villarreal. So you'll recall that our owner wanted us to upgrade at third base, and I did as well, because we didn't really have a third baseman ever since we traded away Vlad Guerrero Jr. And I actually want to get into not Vlad Guerrero, but I want to show you guys Tell's stats in a second, because I know someone left a comment, I forget who it was, that said, oh, if you had Tell's, you'd be a playoff team, and it's actually not that simple, surprisingly. So we did trade Kelenic. That was our first-round pick in, I believe, 2019. Homegrown talent, so it's tough to see him go, but of course now we have Melee, we have Anderson, and we have Roy Bell, so Kelenic kind of fell out of the rotation. So this is a guy that we could kind of afford to trade. Now we did end up selling low on him because he just had his worst year as a major leaguer. By far, he was a negative win player for the first time, posted an ugly OPS plus, an ugly OPS that was under 700, and injuries played a role in that, but we decided to trade him. Tristan Gray, Cliff Gallahan, that was another guy that was tough to get rid of. You remember this was one of the guys we got in that Seattle trade, but once again, there just really wasn't a spot for him, so this was a guy that we could kind of afford to get rid of in exchange for maybe some better talent. And Luis Ledesma, just a minor league starting pitcher that was never going to factor into our major league area, our major league team, squad, whatever. And we got Jordan Groshans, who is one of the better third basemen in the league right now, surprisingly. He can definitely hold his own with the bat. He's got solid home run power, solid gap power. He has a solid eye. Strikeouts are going to be a bit of an issue. As we saw, you can look at it last year. He had 145 strikeouts to just 37 walks. That's a little ugly. But still, he can kind of hold his own with the bat. He doesn't have a lot of speed, but defensively, he is fantastic. 75 grade at third base, and you see his defensive ratings are great. Dedicated and passionate, but he won't argue with the umpires, which is good. He's going to slot in as our starting third baseman. He's only been in the league for 2 years, right on the nose, 2 years exactly. So we'll have him for a while under team control, another 4 years. And so basically I just looked at the list of third basemen in the league, starting third baseman, just to see who the best ones were that could be really good defensively. That was the main thing I was looking for, but B, also hold their own with the bat, and it came down to Groshans, a guy on the Rangers, and Fernando Tatis Jr., and it was going to be tough to get Tatis Jr. just because they kind of wanted a lot for him, the Padres did. So it was between this guy and a guy on the Rangers. I believe his last name was Tejada. So I decided to take this guy. He was a little better with the bat. Now, the guy on the Rangers had better speed, but this guy was better defensively than the guy on the Rangers. So I decided to take a shot on this guy. And then the other prospect we got was Alfredo Villarreal. I got him mainly because it seems like he could maybe kind of be, at best average with the bat, I should say, but he has elite speed. He can play almost anywhere in the field, second, third, short, left, right. Great infield ratings. I don't know what his outfield ratings are. I'd like to take a look and see. Good outfield ratings as well. So if nothing else, maybe a nice utility guy that we can use at some point. He is currently only 21 years old, and he just played rookie ball. So, maybe a guy that we can use as a super utility player in the years to come. But I wanted a prospect thrown in there, a lottery ticket type prospect, and that was the one we got. So those were the 3 trades that we made. Be sure to let me know what you thought of them down below. But we also did sign some free agents. So if we go to our pitching staff first, we signed Juan Ochoa, a starting pitcher out of Cuba. This is one of the international free agents. We signed him to what is essentially a 1-year deal worth $9.06 million with 2 team options for just $1 million more than that. Juan Ochoa, intriguing ratings. We needed a 5th starter after we traded Bontrager and Gallahan. So this guy, I'm going to take a chance on him. His stuff it's okay. It's not the greatest, but he does have good control, if nothing else, so he won't be walking a ton of guys. 3 solid pitches in the fastball, curveball, change. So we will see how he does this year. 29 years old. He's slotting currently as the 5th starter in our rotation. So next year we will have 2 new starters in the rotation, believe it or not. We did really work on the bullpen through free agency. We got Juris Familia, formerly of the Mets, and then he went to the crosstown rival Yankees. He's 35 years old at this point. We signed him to what is essentially a one-year deal worth $4 million. Next year, we have a team option for $3.6 million that I might end up picking up. We will have to see Iron Man, so we shouldn't have to worry about injuries with a guy like Familia, and he is actually pretty solid. So hopefully he's a good teammate as well, which is always good. So the team, the clubhouse chemistry shouldn't be an issue, but Familia should be a solid stopper for us. We signed Luis Avalon pretty recently. 2+ pitches in the fastball and the changeup. Another older guy, 35 years old. We signed him to what's essentially a one-year deal worth $3.36 million with a second-year team option that is worth the same amount. Another guy with intriguing ratings that hopefully can help us solidify the bullpen, or just to stabilize the bullpen this upcoming season. Last year, that was definitely a bit of an issue. And we did sign Alex Faedo back to what was just a one-year deal worth $1.1 billion. His season last year really hurt his value, which is kind of unfortunate for him, but it was fortunate for us because we could get him on the cheap, and now hopefully he'll be able to play up his value a little bit more in a bullpen role. We're not going to use him in the starting rotation again, and we'll have to see how Faedo does this season in a bullpen role. Lineup-wise, we signed just one guy. We signed a backup catcher, Sandy Leon. He is exceptional defensively. Fans love his charisma, and the fan interest actually increased when we signed this guy. He has been in the league for 7 years and 149 days, so almost 8 years. Last year, he was with the San Francisco Giants, but before that, he's with the St. Louis Cardinals. Before that, he was with the Boston Red Sox. We signed him to a one-year deal worth $1.2 million with a $150,000 bonus if he reaches 480 plate appearances, which he will not do. So he will just be our backup catcher. So looking at the lineup, and I forgot to set the lineup, so give me 1 second. All right, so just got the lineup all sorted out. So I'm probably going to go into the season with a lineup like this. Well, Ben Melee, Mike Anderson, Juan Roybal, Luis Estrada, Jordan Groshans, Luis Carpio, Jason Guzman, and Christian Vasquez rounding out the order. Now, offensively, this is definitely not the best lineup I have ever fielded. That would probably have been last year, but defensively, I think that this is probably the best one I've fielded since we started this series. You see Vasquez, 75 grade catcher. Estrada, 55 grade first baseman. Carpio, 70 grade second baseman. Groshans, a 75 grade third baseman. Guzman, a 60 grade shortstop. Melee, a 65 grade left fielder. Anderson, a 55 grade center fielder. And Roybal, a 55 grade right fielder. So defensively, I'm pretty happy with how this team is. The owner wanted us to improve our defensive efficiency. We finished 11th in that category last year, so I think we'll end up doing that this year. Power-wise, we have, I think, like 4 guys, maybe 5 that could hit double-digit home runs. So obviously Estrada with the 75 grade power. Roybal should probably reach double digits. He has the past 2 years. Melee should reach double digits. He hit 10 last year, and if it wasn't for injuries, he probably would have hit more, so he should reach it. I think Mike Anderson has enough power to maybe hit out like 10 to 12 a year. That would be great. So, and then Groshans, he has 55 grade power, so he should reach double digits. Now you got to remember, he is playing half of his games in Colorado, but he has reached double digits the past 2 years that he's been in the major league. So I think he should be able to do that here as well. Carpio, he's not going to hit double digits. Obviously, Guzman isn't either, and Vasquez, he's not really that good with the bat in this game in my save. So we have like 5 guys that should reach double-digit home runs, so the power, I think, should be there, but we also have some speed as well. Of course, Melee is a pretty fast guy. Anderson has elite speed, 75 grade speed. Roybal has really good speed. Estrada, he's definitely not fast at all. No speed to him. Groshans, as I mentioned, he's not really a fast guy. Carpio has some speed to him, and he can run the bases. He can steal. Guzman has some speed. So we got like a fast lineup for the most part outside of a guy like Estrada and Groshans. So maybe we end up playing small ball a little bit, I'd imagine. I mean, we have guys with solid contact ratings that don't really hit for a lot of power. So, I mean, maybe we end up playing small ball. But we do have guys that can hit the ball out of the park. Not as much home runs as I would like personally, but we can always fix that later. I know our owner wanted us to acquire a power hitter. We didn't really do that, but it was kind of difficult to. I mean, we didn't really have a ton of money to work with, and it's difficult to trade because we're not really at a position now where we can afford to trade like our top prospects for like a power bet. Like we can trade like maybe some lottery ticket type guys for guys that might improve the lineup or the pitching staff right now. but like we're not really at that point where we're not sellers. Like we're not trying to trade off like all of our guys for prospects anymore, but we're not buyers either. We're not going to like trade prospects for immediate help. So it's our I should say like top prospects like Josh Burks and Infante, like and Apodaca, just off the top of my head, like top prospects like that. We're not really at the point where we're going to trade them for like that next star like pitcher at the deadline or whatever. We're kind of like in the middle. So backups, we're going to have Sandy Leon as our backup catcher. Edman will be our backup first baseman and shortstop. Figueroa will be our backup second and third baseman. And Jod Carter will be our backup outfielder. If we take a look at the pitching staff, we'll probably have something resembling Eric Doherty, Braxton Garrett, Michael Baumann, Steve Talbert, and Juan Ochoa. With a bullpen, Austin Franklin, Brian Mejia, and Juris Familia as our stoppers. As of this point, that could always change. Along with Franklin Colomb, Sixto Sanchez, Luis Avalon, Alex Faedo, and I think we're actually going to keep either Becker or Bergner. So I'm going to do something different this year. I'm going to keep 13 pitchers and just 12 bats as opposed to the other way around, which is how I usually do things. So I'm going to keep either Becker or Bergner on the Major League roster as a middle relief guy. I don't know who yet. We will find out. If we take a look at team chemistry once again, so we have 3 captains in Tommy Edman, Jod Carter, and Mike Anderson. We have 4 leaders in Austin Bergner, Steve Talbert, Cole Figueroa, and Juan Roybal. We have a spark plug in Ben Melee, so we did lose one since we traded John Dean, but we still have another one in Ben Melee, and we have a prankster still in Cole Figueroa. No disruptive guys, no one that's outspoken, selfish, or unmotivated, and the chemistry overview right now is content, which is good. So with that being said, I'm going to end this episode here, episode number 25. I want to thank you all for watching. In the next episode, we will see if this Marlins team can finally put it all together and take the next step and maybe go 500 next year. That would be fantastic. Just looking at where we finished last year, 11th in defensive efficiency. I think I addressed that. 7th in bullpen ERA. I think I addressed that. 5th in starters ERA. I imagine that's probably where we are going to be this year. So I don't really think I need to address that, but pitching staff as a whole, I think I kind of made it a little better maybe, but we'll have to find out. Offensively, we probably did not address home runs all that well, so we're probably still going to be towards the bottom of the league in home runs, but everything else I would imagine should probably still hold. I mean, OPS, it's always going to be a little lower because, I mean, we don't have a lot of guys that are hitting doubles or home runs or triples or whatever, so the slugging percentage is going to be a little lower. So OPS, it might go up a little bit. I'm not sure, but if nothing else, maybe stolen bases will improve. As I mentioned, defensive efficiency will improve. So next year, the team just definitely needs to be more consistent. Like we can't be going 7-13 in April, we can't, and then 14-14 in May, then 11-17 in June. Like we just have to be more consistent as a whole, and I think that would definitely help us out. That would definitely help us reach a 500 record for the first time since 2010, if you can believe that. This team has not won. Oh, no, wait, that wasn't even a 500 record. 2009 was the last time this team finished above 500, if you can believe that, and it's just been downhill ever since. So hopefully next year we can win at least 81 games for the first time since 2009. That is the goal, but I guess we will just have to wait and see. So once again, thank you all for watching. I will see you in the next episode when we do the 2025 regular season. Enjoy the rest of your day.